Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Medusa Games Sunday evening stream with Richard and Jane. Last week we had a bit of a discussion session talking about one of our prototypes, Oranges and Lemons. Today we're going to play through another one of our prototypes, but this one is a rather more advanced version. So once we get back into real world shows, this will be one of the first things that will ultimately be available to buy, whereas Oranges and Lemons is going to be a year or two out.
Yep.
So Cretaures and Monsters is an expansion to our Nineworlds game, and we're going to play the two-player version of that tonight. So we're using the basic game along with the Cretaures and Monsters expansion. We're not using the other expansion as well. You can put everything together, but it's just for length of time and other reasons, we just want to concentrate on the newest expansion.
Indeed, yes.
Tonight.
Yeah.
So the idea is to play through that this week and next, have a bit of a review of that afterwards, and then following that, hopefully 3 weeks' time or so, we might be in a position to have a bit of a think about real world shows and the fact that the world seems to be gradually getting onto its feet again.
Hopefully so. Right. Okay. So let's bring up the game here. Here we are. So I was just fiddling with it because I realised I was sort of frozen in an awkward sort of like position or something. Sometimes if you change cameras and things, it does that. So anyway, yes, here we go. So we've got the Nineworlds board. Obviously, the Nineworlds game itself is a published game, so all that bits, the artworks and the bits and pieces for that are all the production artwork. But the bits that we'll be using in addition for this expansion are these bits over here. Now, currently we're slowly starting to show some of the art from that Andre that's coming across as he produces it, but there isn't much of that in this prototype. These are very much the original sketches rather than and not even the layout really design of these cards. It's just the prototype version, but enough to sort of show you the gameplay.
So this is really all about yet another playtest. We've playtested this quite a lot with larger numbers of people. We've done relatively little on the two-player version, so again, it's just a useful way of doing that.
Indeed.
And although this is relatively advanced, we're still in the position to be open to suggestions. So as ever, if having watched one of our things, anyone's got any ideas for things that might make this better or worse, then do just drop us an email.
Okay, so there's a little bit of setting up. So the difference between Nineworlds and Nineworlds Cretaures and Monsters is we've got these Cretaures and Monsters, and they're basically erupting into the Nineworlds, and we've got to do something about them. Otherwise, there'll be adverse effects on us. But also, if you can manage to defeat them, then you're going to score points from that, and you'll get certain advantages that you can use in the game. So each of the monsters has a sort of relatively standard layout. They have a points value in the top left-hand corner, and the monsters count towards are treated as if they're another world in terms of 5 points for the most of them and 3 points if you're tied. So that's worth remembering. The monsters also have a bit of artwork on here, but also these stone spots. So this is where we will be placing our armies, our fighters, our warriors that are going to go off and fight them, and the numbers and letters on them reflect where those stones will go back to after the card is resolved. But we'll show you that as that happens. On the left hand side there is a number here 2, which tells us we need to put out 2 of these little tokens, and flip them over like that. And these tokens are bonuses, and when this monster is defeated, then the player or the players that help defeat it will split these bonuses. The person who's done the most will get the first choice. Over here it tells us that there are no 0 here penalties. So the monster's not defeated, nothing happens, it just gets discarded, and there's no particular ill consequences.
But it doesn't get discarded until the end of round 3.
Round of 3, yeah.
Might as well also just be an idea to quickly remind people about the rules of the basic game, just in case people have forgotten the way it plays.
Yes.
So just very quickly, this is an area control type game. We're trying to get as many stones onto the various worlds as possible in order to score points. Each player has a number of action points to spend, and so you take it in turns. You spend all of your action points and then it goes on to the next player. and you can use your points to move stones from your reserve. And I've got a bag of stones here onto your card, the player card, which is this bit here. You can then move those stones from your card to the world, and it costs me a point to go from my bag in reserve to my card, another point to go from my card to here where my avatar is.
Yep.
If I want to go somewhere else, I can, but that's 2 points. I can also spend a point to move an avatar between worlds. I can move my stone between worlds, or I can pick up one of your stones. Costs me more points to move it, but I can move it, and similarly I can move your avatar as well. We can also send stones into Helheim and get them back out again. When everybody has spent all of their points, and ignoring for the moment the extra monsters, when you place your stones, you can also place stones over into here. So if I want to add stones into those monsters, I can't just put them straight on, or the first player would basically do everything. Instead, I put them all into this mead hall here, which is a sort of waiting room.
Yes.
And once we've all spent all of our action points on the main world, we then dissolve putting stones onto those monsters.
Yep.
When all the points have been spent, then we first resolve the action on the 9 worlds itself, and we're looking for worlds with at least 5 stones. If there's 5 stones on the world, it means the power of that world will be active. If there's more than 5 stones, then we have a battle, and battles work simply by taking stones off in player order. So going first is not a big advantage in the game, but in the 2-player game, of course, it's not quite so bad because you're alternating between the 2 of us. Where you've got a lot more players, going first can be quite a disadvantage, and in those scenarios, first player gets extra action points to compensate, and in 5 and 6-player games, second player does as well.
Right, but actually the monster phase does occur before the battles and world powers phase. Yeah,
Spend all our points, put all our stones out first.
But that means that if one of the monsters was to get resolved, then some of those stones might end up back on the worlds, and that would have an effect upon that battles and world powers phase. Yep.
Stones that have defeated in a glorious battle, the stone from the winning side, the first one gets to go to Valhalla. Everything else goes back into reserve.
Yep.
So similarly on the monsters, some stones can go to Valhalla, some just go back to homeworld, some go back to cards, some go to reserve.
Yes, indeed.
And then finally points, we score up at the end of round 3 and round 6, and in the longer game round 9, but we're only planning on 6 rounds I think this time. And you get 2 points for every stone anywhere on the 9 worlds, point for every stone on your card, -2 for anything in Helheim. Reserve is nothing one way or the other. 5 points for every world you control. So here, although there's only 1 stone, and even if there wasn't an avatar there, that would be enough to control the world for the purpose of 5 points, although I wouldn't have the world power. And if we are sharing a world, if it's that scenario, that would be 3 points each. If the red avatar is there, it becomes 5 points to red. If the orange avatar is also there, then it will become 3 points each again.
Yep.
And you also get points for each different world you're on. So if you've got stones on 5 different worlds, that gives you 5 points as well.
Indeed, yes. Yep.
So that's just a very brief run through the rules. We do have other videos where we play the basic
core game. Yeah. The difference with the monsters is, as Jane said, you can spend points to put stones onto this card here, and when you've done that, after the action phase, we will be allocating these stones from the mead hall. This is meant to be like a warrior's hall where they're all gathering to go off and fight battles. They will be then transferred out onto the monsters, and the players will take it in turns to put the stones onto these cards. The idea being to try and get to have majority of the stones on the cards. Okay. The importance of where you place them is that if there is a tie for the number of stones on the cards, then the person who's got the stone furthest to the left of the tied players will win. And also it affects where the stones are going to go back to, as we've already referenced. So V stands for Valhalla, N for any of the 9 worlds, H for home world, C for a card, R for reserve, and there is some that send you to Helheim.
And just to clarify, Richard, first player doesn't get to play all their stones from the mead hall onto the
No,
monsters.
no, you take it in turns to
do
place
that
them,
way.
yeah.
But it is still player order.
That's
that
right.
they
Now,
have
if you
to-
get to a situation where there are and all the spaces have been filled, so let's just do that like that as an example up here. Once all the stones have been placed, you look to see if any of the cards do what we call resolve. Now, cards will resolve if they are filled with stones, or if it is the third turn of the game or the sixth turn of the game, scoring rounds, at which points where the cards have to be sorted out, resolved, regardless of whether they've been defeated or not. Okay, so when we resolve a card, we look to see first of all who's got the most stones on that card, and in the case of the of this situation, it is tied between red and blue. Red has got the stone further to the left, so this would become a red card, and the red player would keep the card and will gain 1 point at the end. Some of the cards are monster powers on the right hand corner, and they would get access to those powers. Okay. Then what happens is we say, okay, we'll divvy out these bonuses here, and that is done in order of the person who's done the most to defeat it.
Or if it's equal like
so
that,
on.
then it's people who the first stone on the card.
That's right.
gets the
This
thing.
token here is what we call a battle token. That basically means that you can play that in order to, for free, move a stone from your reserve directly onto a card.
Instead of spending an action.
It's spending action points, and that is done after the action points bit has been spent. And we go around and give everyone the option of spending those tokens. Yeah. This one is world power, and that is used at the same time as the other world powers are activated. We go through and everyone can play tokens for any monster world powers they've got, and then we do the world powers. So that's the Midgard world power there. This is the what's that one? I think it's the Nidavella one, isn't it? Yeah, Nidavella. And Jotunheim power, and so on. So we'll explain the tokens as we get them. Actually, the only one in here which is slightly different to those is this one here. This one allows the changing of player order. So once the player order has been resolved in the normal way that we do it in the game, you can play that token to change your position up to 2 spaces. Okay.
And
Now,
just to say, if people want to play this on their own, on Tabletopia, we do have the basic game,
Yeah.
and the expansion is already published. We
Yeah.
don't have this prototype because
No,
we're still working on
this
it.
is still a prototype thing. This is not published on there. Okay. Now, some tokens have some worlds have these penalty tokens on. Some of these monsters rather have these penalty tokens on, and they will get suffered by the player who has defeated the monster. So if one player has defeated the monster, then you look down here and you see what that left hand number is, and that tells you what penalties they take. So the idea of this is that they've suffered some wound in the battle of defeating the monster. And as an example, this particular one here allows the other player to move their avatar between worlds. This one would mean they would have to take a stone back from any of the 9 worlds to their card. Okay.
You can choose, can't you? Which of those?
You can choose which one to take. Yes. Now the number on the right is all about how many stones you as a player have to have on that card in order to avoid taking a penalty if the monster is undefeated. So if the monster is defeated, then the person who wins takes a wound, takes a penalty. If the monster is undefeated, then all the players in the 9 worlds who haven't contributed to the fight by at least 1 stone in this case would take a penalty each. So
the Valkyries here at the bottom.
So the Valkyries here is that you would take 2. So that's the number of stones on the left, the penalties on the right. So you need to have 2 stones on there to avoid taking the penalty, and the number of penalties you would take if you haven't got 2 stones is 1, but only if the monster is undefeated. Yeah. Okay. Valkyries have a monster power, but a lot of this is probably easiest to show you as we go through the play. Yeah.
Okay,
So we're all set.
game.
2-player game.
I'm going to be blue and red.
Yep. I'm going to be green, and I'm going to be you're going to be blue and orange. I'm going to be green and red. Yeah, it's opposite people. So first player is blue, then green,
No, I'm blue and red.
You are right, I think.
Yeah, because in order of play, blue goes first, then green,
Yes.
then red world is
Anyway,
number
why
7.
don't we remind ourselves of what the rules
orange
actually
world is
say?
number
Because so long since we played a 2-player game. We only wrote the rules. It's not like we actually know what we're talking about here. Game variants, 2-player, basic. We're doing it again. I might try the 4-colour version. Give each player 2 cards and all the relevant pieces. You might try. Might care to try player 1 Vanaheim and Svartalheim, which is the blue and the orange. Yeah. And player 2 Alfheim and Muspelheim. So that's the suggested one. And you can try other combinations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
But the reason for that, I think, is a little bit kind of poker style. Not poker, when I talk about bridge style, where the players sit opposite each other's in pairs. Yeah. So you're going to play the first turn of this particular round.
But it would also mean
the
that
last
if you're
round.
sitting around the board, it will be hard to actually be next to those 2 colours.
Yeah, but the things will move around, don't they? So yeah. I don't know what logic we had. We must have had some logic.
Oh, we haven't finished the rules yet, so I don't know.
Well, no, we finished the 2-player rules. That's in the original game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you are blue and orange. Yeah. So what you can do with your now the way it works in a 2-player game is that we still work out the points as normal. This is treated as if it was a 4-player game. So if I go down here to my action pool, you see there isn't anything for 2 because you treat a 2-player game as if it's a 4-player game. Which means the first player, which is one of Jane's 2 worlds, she's going to get 8 action points. It's 7 normally, but plus 1 for the first player, and all the rest of us will have 7 action points available to us. Yeah. So my 2, I'm gonna set on the 7, which is actually how they started. Blue, I think, is set on 8. Yes, and orange is on 7. Yeah. So that's set up right. So blue goes first with their 8 points to spend.
I'd like to state here and now that I think I would have stood a better chance of winning if I'd been blue and red. However, we shall see. Right, so 8 points to spend. So I'm going to spend.
Would you like to be blue and red? I don't have a problem.
3 of those on getting extra out of the bag. Then I'm going to spend 4 points to move those across to here. So that's 7 in total so far.
Yeah. Now, since I've got these 2, I'm just going to get myself set up in my position.
Then I'm going to put 1 stone into the mead hall. You can't move straight from the bag to the mead hall, can you?
You can't move straight right from the bag. You can. It's 1 point. Yeah. Right. It's 1 point to go from the bag to the mead hall. Yeah.
Okay, so I should do that.
Okay. Right. Yeah. You all done?
I'm done.
All right. So. Okay. Then here we go. So this is green. I am. So I'm going to start by taking 3 directly onto there. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4. Let's just lock this card into position. 4, 5, 6. And 7 and 8 straight into the meat hall. Okay, then it's me again, I think, isn't it? So I think in player order. Ready's next, yeah. So that's over here. Okie dokie. So now, when you're playing with 2 worlds like this, it's the same as if you're playing in pairs. The 2 worlds are treated essentially as different worlds, separate worlds. All and in terms of battles and all the rest of it, you treat them as if you're separate worlds. But obviously you can decide to to cooperate between the two things.
I'm just wondering why you had 8 points to spend.
I didn't have 8 points to spend. You're entirely right. Let's put one of those. I should only put one onto there. Same problem with this one. Okay. Yep. Well, those three go to there, don't they? So I did one onto there. I put 3 stones onto here. So that's 3, 4. That's 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, around to you.
So I am going to, for orange, I'm going to put in the meat hall. We've got not many over there. I'm going to put 2 into the meat hall. So that's 2 points.
Yeah.
3. 4, 5. 6.
Okay. So we're all done. So the next thing that happens is we resolve the we would
The meat hall. Now we need to
the
take
meat hall.
those things off there that we left from your discussion earlier.
Yep. Indeed, yes. So shove those back.
As much as it would be nice to already have filled that one up, we haven't actually done so.
Right. So what are you going to do with your player order? It's red, green, blue, then green, red, and orange. Yeah.
Okay, so
You
the
keep
Garm-
cycling round like
the
that.
Garm at the top doesn't have much in the way of powers or whatever to commend him.
Yeah.
The only thing that actually has powers going on is the Valkyrie. So I think I'm going to put a blue one in there.
Okay, so I'm going to put my first stone onto there, Fossagrim, and then my red one onto there as well.
H is for Homeworld, C is for card. Oops.
Yeah, so jot these things down as well.
And then
Okay, so so let me see how any of these resolved. They haven't. None of these are filled. It isn't the third turn, so we just leave these monsters alone for the moment, and just go back to here and see if there's any battles. There's no actual battles, but we do see that one of the worlds, which is Vanaheim, has activates a world power, and so it gets the world power.
So the Vanaheim power is to either move things out of Helheim, but there is nothing in there at the moment, or to take 2 stones and add them to your card.
I'll put them on your card, yep.
Which is what I'll do.
Okay. We then resolve it. Well, you've done the world power, so that's the only one that's happened. So we move that. These markers are shown, just used to mark the fact that there's a world power in play. Once it's done, you remove it. And then with the Valhalla phase, which is to bring stones back for Valhalla, doesn't happen. It's a scoring round, there's no scoring. So we basically move on to turn 2.
So first of all, we see who's now going to be first.
Now we look at that. So that is done by looking at how many stones each player has, and the most stones is Vanaheim, which is 5. So blue stays first player. And then the way it works is you look at the number of so there's 2 tied players, red and green, In the event of a tie, you see if they control who controls the most worlds. If it's still tied, which it is, then you go in world number order. And
So we actually leave it as it is.
so it stays exactly as it is, because green world is a 3, red is a 7. So that leaves Svartalfheim in last place there. So the player order hasn't actually changed this particular turn, and off we go again with 8 points available for blue, and the rest of us have 7.
Okay. So I am going to first of all put 3 onto the meat hall. Then I'm going to move my avatar onto Jotunheim for another point, so that's 4 points I've spent. Then I'm going to move 2 stones that are on my card onto Jotunheim. That's 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take another 2 stones. And put them in here as well.
Oh, blimey! So blue's going for the monster things in a big way. Now, if stones don't all manage, if all these holes are filled, then any remaining stones stay in the mead hall for a future turn. But of course, they are locked up to some extent while they're on the monster cards and can't therefore be used on the worlds. Okay, 1 point to activate Muspelheim power, hopefully.
Yeah. The other thing we should have said is that when a monster gets resolved, then you do replace it with another one. So if at the end of this current turn,
yes,
we get things, then there will be more monster
right.
space available.
2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. I've just realised I've done red before green. Doesn't particularly matter because I'm the same player, but green should have come first. Let's put 1 point from green there, onto there. Yeah, and then go to there.
Yes, it doesn't matter for this bit, it would matter from me actually doing out the monsters at this end.
So how many total holes we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 spaces here. Currently we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 stones in play. So at the current moment, not all the monsters would activate. Currently, Jane is in first position on this one. And got first 2 of her words are on there. The chances are pretty good that she could guarantee the guard just by putting a stone on there. I can't really do much about that. I can probably make sure I've got the Fossagrim. It's going to be difficult to wrench the Valkyries off her. So I may not bother too much more about with that and focus on using the stones on the Nineworlds. So I've gone 1, 2 so far. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then so that was green, then came red, which I did out of order, but there we are. And now it is orange.
Right, so I have lots of stones sitting there, so I can move out onto the board. So I can go 1,
Yes.
3 points there to activate that world.
Okay, I made a mistake, as we shall see.
3.
Yep.
I'm going to put 3 stones over here onto the mead hall. Assuming you've got your maths right, I think that's what we needed in order to get through all those monsters this go.
Okay.
So that's 6 I've spent so far.
So you had 3 stones on your card, did you?
I had
So you
I
had
have
two.
4 stones on the card.
That's right. So 3 moved on to there. Well, you've got 1 on your stone, and then you've done 3 points to this. So you've spent 6 so far. Haven't
6
you?
so far. And then
So
I'm going to put another
put a stone on the card. Right, monster resolution time. So it is blue, then green, then red. So blue first, puts a stone on.
Let me think. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll put that one back.
Yeah.
Remember what you've got where. Because the monsters happen first, don't they, before the world powers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move this one to here.
Okay.
And I'm going to...
That's it, isn't it?
Pardon?
You've...
I'm going to move that one back onto its card as though I haven't done anything with it.
Right, okay.
And then I'll just add another one to the card instead.
Okay. Right, off you go. You're placing the first one.
Oops. Having some fun with Tabletopia here. Right, there we go. Okay, so it's blue, isn't it, to go first?
Yeah, blue goes first.
So I've made a mistake as well. I'm going to end up with some Civil War losses.
Yep, I'm going to have the same thing. It occurred to me.
On the Vanaheim.
So to remind people that if you end up with more than 5 stones in a world, there's a battle. But if you pull 5 of those, so if 6 or more of those belong to the same player, it doesn't matter. You basically got an overcrowded world, and all the Vikings go and get, or whatever it is, go and get drunk and fight each other.
Actually, no, I think I'm okay, because I have a blue one on there, but that's on a Valhalla space.
Okay. Yeah.
And there aren't any H's left on these monsters.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one I've got, what I've got to realise is red chap's going to be going back to a home world where there are 5 of his buddies.
Okay.
He'll turn up thinking he's all heroic and they'll beat him up and get rid of him.
Okay, so I've put a blue one onto there.
Yep.
And then it's green, but there aren't any green people waiting. No, it's red. So
Okie dokie. Right, so red. First one of red goes. I'm going to pop it onto there. Okay, then it's orange.
There's 3 tokens there, isn't there? So it's worth putting something on.
There's 3 tokens, yes. So the way these tokens get divided is by the number of players, and you look in order of the people who contributed. So this situation, it means that she's getting herself a token. It's not. She won't be able to take control of the thing, but she will get a token out of that.
And then it's back to blue.
Right. So on the same logic as that, there's two here, but she's got red and orange are on there. So unless I put 2 on there, and she can prevent me doing that, then I'm not going to get one of them. However, I could potentially get one of these tokens up top here.
However, green hasn't got any stones.
Green hasn't got any stones, no, and
But red has, so you could put a red stone up there if you wanted to.
yeah, red has, and I'm not risking too much of the monster not getting completed because there's another turn to go yet. And in any event, I've actually still got these tokens that we can spend.
I've now put a thing on there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to pop that one up there, which means I'm going to get, at the present moment, potentially one of those tokens.
And now it's orange.
Now it is orange.
If I put that one on there,
Yep.
then red will get first pick and orange will get second.
Orange would get second, and then green would get third. Yes, indeed. Yes, that's the way that works.
So that's orange. Then it's blue again. So blue. Blue is going to go up here. And then there isn't any green, so it's then red.
Ah, so that actually allows me to take the goal.
Yeah.
Then it's orange. And there are only three spaces left. Now, all these, you have to use the stones if you can. So the heroes can't just stay away from the battle they have to fight the monsters if they're able to, if they're there. Okay, so we have 3 resolutions to do it. So let's start off with the Garm. So the first thing is to work out who won it, and actually it is red.
So red gets first pick.
So I'm going to get first pick of these 2 bonuses. An extra token is always quite good, and exchange things
That's
useful.
Midgard power, in effect.
But it isn't. It's Midgard power. It's not a bad one, but having the ability to add extra stones is quite good. And these only come out during the first phase of the monsters, which is the first 3 turns.
Okay.
So I will
then
take
the
one
other
of those.
person who gets a pick is orange.
Yep. So you have to take
So
the
I have to take the Midgard one.
Midgard one. We then resolve the stone. So the orange stone goes to Homeworld, which is over here somewhere, isn't it? Yep. There we are. The red stone goes back to the red player's card, which is here. The blue stone into the blue's reserve, and the red will go into red's reserve.
And
I take the card, so I'll just unlock that. No powers on it, but it is worth 1 point towards it, 1 victory point anyway in the game, and 1 point towards who's got the most monsters.
Okay.
Right, let's deal with our second monster, Fossagrim.
So in this case,
Yep.
it's red has won this one as well.
Yep. So I get first choice. Right, so these powers are the Nidavellir power, which is the add stones to the board. The Jotunheim, which is the steel bit, the replace a stone on the board. And then there is the battle thing. Well, I'm going to take the Jotunheim, so I don't fancy getting my. And it's red player now. So when there is a just check at the top a minute. The top one was it was red that won that one, wasn't it? Yeah. So in a 2-player game, the tokens go to the colour that won or is choosing. You can't give it to your other world. Right.
Okay.
Now
so
it is orange.
It's orange to choose, and I have a choice between a token or a Nidavellir power.
Yep.
Nidavellir being add a stone somewhere, which
Yep.
is quite useful. And this is for orange.
Yep.
But I've already got a Midgard power, so maybe I'll just take the.
Okay, and then I take the Nidavellir one. Pop that
Now
in
you
there.
also have a penalty.
Yes, he does. So red has a penalty. Now, actually, this is going to probably save the day here because I've currently got 5 stones in Muspelheim, and I know in a minute one of these red stones is going to get sent home, which basically means it's going to fight with the others and end up back in the reserve. So what I might as well do is choose this power here, this penalty. I'll take a stone back from any of the Nineworlds to my card. So whilst that is going from being worth 2 points here, it's only worth 1 here.
It was going to die in the Civil War anyway.
One of them would have died in the Civil War anyway, so I'm not too badly off with that.
Okay, so green stone goes to anywhere in the Nineworlds. So where are you sending it?
I will send that to Nidavellir.
Okay.
Yep.
And then this red stone is going to your homeworld.
Yep.
And this
Well, that
one
red stone, I think,
is
is
going to your card.
has to be card. Okay, I'll grab that. Yep, and then the orange stone goes to. They're going to orange's reserve, so back into the bag. That's 1, and there is 2. So I got that card. No monster power on it, but worth 2 points. So at the moment that means I've got 3 points, and so I'm currently winning the monster pointy thing. Valkyries. Let's have a look at what happens
That's
with
blue
this.
and orange. So blue is the winner. So the first of these is an ability to change the order.
Yes.
And the second of these, that blue, that's the Vanaheim power, isn't it?
That is the Vanaheim. Oh, yes. So
Yeah.
Yep, that's the Vanaheim power. Yep.
Okay, so blue already has Vanaheim as its home world, so it will go with the change the order.
Yep. And you'll give the Vanaheim power to the orange.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of, you need to take a penalty as blue. So this means that next turn you would lose an action point. Okay. No, sorry. Actually, sorry. An opposing player can spend an action point to move your pieces. Yeah. So you'd allow me to move an avatar or a stone or something, basically, but as if I was you. So in other words, it'll cost me only. I can move your stones as if I was you. Right. This one would move a stone back to a card. This one would move a stone back to reserve. We're playing a 4-player game effectively, so the penalty 5 and 6 aren't in play. Yeah. So there's 2, but you could choose any of those. So do you want to either let me spend a point, move a stone back to your card, move a stone back to reserve?
I think we will move a stone back to my card. We will move the stone from Jotunheim.
Okay.
Yes. We're both displaying the fact we haven't played Nineworlds lately, because neither of us is Rock's particularly clever thus far.
Okay then. Right, Valkyries then. So we resolve the stones on there. So that is a Valkyrie stone, so that goes into there and it's going to score us some points in a minute. The next one is going to go to to the orange home world. So she's done her maths right there, because she's got. She's ended up with 5 stones. So that means she's going to get the world power there. That's a card. So that one goes to your reserve. So these 2 are going to be reserve stones as well. And the orange one went to reserve, and that means you get the Valkyrie. Now the Valkyrie power, which will is going to come up in a minute after the when we get to the Valkyrie Valhalla phase, is that when she moves her stones back from Valhalla, she can either send it to her home world and
get 3 points
rather than 2, or she can send it to any of the other worlds and score 2 points. Yeah. So we are done with monsters. The new ones will come out in a moment, but we deal with our battles now. So Alfheim's world power activates. So does Vanaheim, and so does Svartalfheim, and so does Muspelheim. Before we resolve those, though, we find out if anybody has any the world tokens. So those are done in the token order, effectively. Yeah. So the tokens that we've got are I've got the Nidavellir one and the Jotunheim one. You've got the Midgard one and the Vanaheim one. So Vanaheim comes first. So do you wish to play the Vanaheim power? Which is to put 2 stones onto your card.
I may as well.
Okay.
Orange, isn't it?
Yep, so that means we discard the token here. It just goes into this bag over here. And she can add 2 stones to a card. The next power in order that we've got in play is the Jotunheim power, which is the steal a stone of somebody else, which
it's round 2. Might be more useful to use that in round 4.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's not a scoring round. That's a good one to have in your the bag to use on that round. It's not a bad idea though for me to use the Nidavellir one, which is the next one. Oh, sorry, Midgard is next. That's you. Do you want to use the Midgard power?
Don't want to swap anything around. Well, maybe it would make sense to swap one of those.
Yeah, because that's going to get you a point for each of those worlds, isn't it? Some extra worlds. Right, I'm going to use the Nidavellir token, which is the one that adds a stone to any world, just because that's effectively, could have used it next turn, but if I as well, but if I do it now, it's all the same, and that allows me to take a stone and drop it onto Nidavellir.
Did you get rid of that other power that I spent?
I've done, yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's done. Now we go. Then we actually spend the world powers that actually belong to the board rather than the monster tokens that we picked up. So first one being Vanaheim. So the blue player adds 2 stones to their card from their reserve.
Never a reason not to do that, really.
The Alfheim is going to be moving, if he wants to, 2 stones. It can be their own stones, or it could be another player's stones. So I think I might as well cause not exactly a war, but just a if I did that and that, it will just mean they've got to think about a bit about what they're doing about things. Okay, and then it is the oh no, it isn't. It's the Svartalheims. You get two. No, it's Muspelheim first, so I get to destroy. So either send two stones back.
Two cards or one to reserve.
Yeah, all I'll actually do is send. I think I'm going to send one back to reserve. Actually, well, I'll send this orange one back to reserve. Okay, and then it is your Svartalheim power. 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I've got a Valhalla stone for blue. But Svartalheim.
So these 2 points can be spent just as extraction points in a normal turn. So moving stones around, moving avatars around, adding stones to the board, anything like that.
That's 2 points, isn't it?
Okay, yep. Right, we are done with
and then a Valhalla stone comes back.
So now it's the Valhalla phase. So that Valhalla stone goes back to the player's home world, which is Valheim. And score. That's assuming you want to do that. And scores
No, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. You want to send it to another world, do you?
I'm going to send it to Midgard.
Okay. And
score 2 points.
Score 2 points. Okay. So if you do that, the score is on the track there. Right, that is the end of the second turn. So we will reset the board here. So here we go. So what happens now is it's still the first phase of the game. So there's phase 1 comes out in turns 1, 2 and 3. Phase 2 is 4, 5 and 6. It's still
Monsters.
So it's still for monsters. We need 3 monsters. It's 1 less monster than there are worlds in play. So there are 2 players.
And avatars on the board. Yes.
Yeah, avatars on the board. Yeah, if you want to look at it.
So what? Move that carry card because it's confusing like that.
There we go. So what have we got? We've got 3 monsters here. We have the Cave Troll, which is a fairly basic monster, worth a point. Very easy to defeat that one. With a Huldra, which has a monster power, which can basically attract a stone into the world that the player's avatar is on.
And then
worth 2 points.
Mara, which goes the other way.
Which does the reverse of that. So we need a couple of tokens here. 1, 2 and 3. And we need 1, 2, 3 here.
So, in terms of if these things are left at the end of this round,
Yep.
Cave Troll isn't going to cause anybody
Any trouble? No.
because it's not very important.
Because it's got zeros here, yeah. But these 2 will cause we might suffer penalties if we've not defeated them. The player who's done the least.
So you need to have 2 stones on here in order to not suffer a penalty.
Yeah, or 1 in the case of the Mara. Okay, there. So let's do player order. So I have blue has got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 7 stones in play?
3, 4, 6. Where's the 7th?
There's 1 over here. There's 1 here.
There's 1 there.
Yeah, there are 3 here, and there are 3 here.
Yeah.
So that's 7, yeah?
Yeah.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for green. 6 for red. There are 5 for...
And there are 6 for orange.
Right, so most is for green.
So green is first player.
Yeah.
And the least is blue.
The least is blue. So it goes to the end. And who's next? Sorry, that was 5. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 each for red and orange.
Oh, that one's there. I missed that one there. Of course it is. In which case we then look at worlds controlled. There's only one world controlled by orange. There are 2 worlds controlled by red. So red goes first. So that's the order. Isn't necessarily a good thing to be going first in a scoring round. Both of my ones go before yours does. So that's not a good thing. But we'll see. Okay, well, green, however, does get an extra action point.
So that bit of my cunning plan worked anyway. I managed to get the third and fourth slots.
You've got 7 points for blue. Everybody else has... Sorry, I've got 8 for green, and green goes first. Now, at this point, we say, does anybody have a change the player order token that they wish to play?
And blue has a change the player order token. But blue is already in last place.
Yep. You all could do the player change the order token is to move your token up to 2 spaces.
So I'm going to stay put. There's no point in
you don't going to do that. Right, so off we go then. So I'm going to spend my 8 points. Right. Okay, monsters, monsters, monsters. Put 1 on there. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Okay.
That's red.
Right. Then red. Right, well, there are 3 on the card. So 1, 2, 3. Right, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Make a bit of a push on the monsters. So then it is orange. Orange has got 4 stones on the card, by the look of things.
Yeah, 4 stones on the card.
We've all got some.
That spare one just fell out of the bag, I think. That one there. This is just in the reserve. I've got 7 points to spend.
Okay.
So I'm going to go. I'm going to put 1 over here.
Okay.
Three. 4.
4, 5, you mean? The avatar's not there on the developer, yeah.
Six. 7th one over the monsters as well. So in terms of points, there's 3 spaces, there's 3 there, there's 7 there, that's 10. There's another 5 there, 15 in total, and we've so far got 4, 7, 9. So if we all ignore the cave troll, if we put another, we need to have a total of 12 things here, but we have tokens as well, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So I think I am going to put 2 into the monsters.
Okay.
So that's 2 points. And then 3. 3, 4, because Avatar's not there. 5.
Okay.
6. 1 more point to spend, haven't I?
Yeah. Okay. Done.
7.
Okay. Right. So monsters starting red, green, orange, then blue. So green. Sorry, first green, red, orange, blue. So green, we'll put 1. Yeah, onto the Valkyrie one there, and red will place 1 onto the Nineworld one there. Okay.
Then it's orange.
Then it's orange.
Orange will place 1 onto the mare.
Okay. Right, and then blue.
Let's put this one there.
And a few technical issues with that one. Yep. Okay. What about your blue one?
The blue one. Is going to go onto there.
They're going on the home world spot.
Yeah, the home world spot.
Okay, let's just lock these cards again. I'm going to keep doing that. Right, okay, so you're on there. Right, then green. Okay. Yep. Pop that onto there. Okay.
And then red.
Then red. Yeah, with 2 per things on here, so I'd like to get both of those the 3 things, aren't they? So you're going to get 1 of those anyway, whatever I do. Although putting the red in there is more likely means I get second choice. Oh, I could potentially get second choice over here, couldn't I? Okay, like that. Okay. Then it's orange.
You're going to be pretty keen to get the holder to finish.
But you putting a stone on there is not going to help you, is it? Because there's only 3.
So I'm going to go
Yeah. There, though, you want to make sure you get that one, yeah. And then you've got blue.
Putting a stone on here might help blue.
Yes, because that'll, well, depending on what happens here, you might then end up with the second choice of the things, yeah. You haven't got more blues though, so I'm first of all going to pop that. So we've got 2 reds of green, haven't we, to come, which are all mine before we worry about.
And then we spend tokens at the end, but again in player order, don't we?
Player order. Okay, red. Actually, it should have been red. That should have been green, shouldn't it?
Yep.
It should have been green first. Okay, I want to make sure I don't, because there's 2 blues on there, so I don't want to do something silly and lose that one. So I'll pop that in there. I can't now lose the Huldra. Then red. I think I can probably grab the mare. Like that. Then we play tokens in player order starting with blue.
Tokens in player order starting with blue. Yes, I will play a token.
Okay.
Are you sure? Who's got the Huldra?
The Huldra is a tie between blue and green, but green is in the most left-hand place. Right. Yeah. So if you do that, yes, but you've already got second place for tokens. Yeah. So you're not. That's not helping you anyway. You've got a chance of getting the cave troll here, haven't you? You're going to powers from him. At least it's worth a point. Yeah. And you force me to use a token to finish off the Huldra if I want it. Being there because there's 1, 2, 3 greens, 1, 2, 3 blues. So you look at who's got the most left-hand stone out of the tie players, and I have them in first on that spot. Yeah. So the Huldra is mine, and I've got the mare as well because I've got 3 reds. So both of those I've got. Whereas if you put if you put a stone, that just finishes that off. But that might actually give me the So you putting that there. I then think about things as actually player order. Player order blue isn't first, do they? Player order is green, then red, then orange, then blue. So I'm getting confused. Yeah. So actually,
hang on. So I threw a token
I know. You've still
bag,
you've got. Well, don't worry because I'm going to go first with green, and I'm going to play a green one in order to. So I'll give you that back. I'll give it to you. Yeah, because obviously you threw one away.
You should take it off green, not red.
Okay, right. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. So there's green.
Across, okay.
Yeah. So that resolves that one. So then red is going to play a token. And pop it there.
Well, that's good because I didn't actually want having any else going on to the home world with blue.
Yep. Then you can. Does orange want to play one of their tokens?
I think so. So, no, I want to play a token. Is there any point?
Well, at the moment, I'm going to need to play 2 tokens in order to get the cave troll. You put a stone on there, that forces me to play another one. If I don't play it, once you pass, you can't come back into the round of playing the stones. So then
I haven't gone yet, have I?
You've not gone as blue or orange or blue.
No.
But remember, if
I just complete it,
yeah,
you are going to get the only token and the points.
Yes.
So there was only any purpose in having the cave troll if I could have gone first.
Yes. So probably the logical thing to do is to not bother. Yeah.
Because there's no penalties for failure to complete that.
No. It's going to cost me 3 tokens to get it, but it is worth a point. I do get a token. So I'm going to go. So orange and blue are not going.
No.
Green will keep hold of its token, and I might as well spend my 2 red tokens to.
Whereas had blue been going first, it made sense for me to go and put a thing on.
Yes, indeed it did. Yeah. I got confused with the fact you've gone first on the other round. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. So we have finished all of the monsters. The second phase monsters get a lot more difficult, as we'll see. But we'll leave it after this round. We'll do the scoring and then leave it there for this week. Okay, so Cave Troll resolves. I don't have any penalties. I do take the benefit though, which is a destroy token. I get this one goes back to my home world, which isn't good because that means it's going to get beaten up in a minute. This one goes. Whoop, this is a card, and the other one is a reserve.
That you get that. actual
But,
cards.
but
So red is currently leading in terms of monster points.
it is, yes. Right, next one is going to go to green, but first choice is going to be green, then it's going to be blue, then red for bonuses.
So over here we have an Asgard power token,
Yep.
a Niflheim power token, and a extra.
So remember, the Asgard token is now you can't use or be affected by any world powers. But I'm going to use I'm going to actually take the banished token for green. There, and then blue gets to choose one. You said that, yeah, I'd have probably taken that one because the problem with the Asgard token is that is that if you use them, you can't use any world powers basically out of either the monster tokens or the world powers. But unused tokens are worth a point at the end of the game anyway. Right,
So,
Huldra resolves.
So green
I take a penalty, don't I?
You do.
So let me see. Well, actually, yeah. The obvious thing to do is to take a stone back to. Oh no, it's green that's won it, not red.
Green is one.
Green has won, not red. Yeah. So what do I want to have? Back to reserve, back to card. Allow you to move my avatar.
Oh, which one I'd do?
Well, I need to use my avatar probably. I mean, back to. Have we got anything else coming out of this? What have I got? I've got a Valhalla, and a card. So I want to ideally have these two powers. Oh, actually, there's a stone there, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, having one of those coming back to my card doesn't matter.
I'd say that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that case, yeah, that goes to Valhalla. That one goes to any of the 9 worlds. So I was going to put
add it to the pile in Musselheim.
No, I think a Niflheim, which is it needs to be in order to activate the power. This one goes to your home world. That one goes to your card for green. It's over here somewhere. No, nope, I've gone all over the place here. It's up here. It's my card for green.
This one goes to the blue reserve, and the other two will go into.
I'll go to green's reserve. Okay, I get the card, however, which we'll use the monster power in a moment. So they're done before at the end of the monster phase. If they've got this pink background, the grey background ones, such as the Valkyrie power, which
happens at the end of
happens that situational happens when the situation happens. The pink ones happen at a certain point in the game. Right, so we've got red controls this one.
So red will go first, then orange, then red.
Then red. Okay, we've got spend 2 points, an action point. So that's an extra action point next turn, the 4th phase of the game. This is a battle stone, which she hasn't got any of at the moment. 2 points though could be useful, potentially. So I think I'll take that. Okay.
What's this one?
The one at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's an extra action point next turn. And that one is a battle stone. Yeah. But put a stone onto the mead hall.
I've got rather a lot of battle stones, but it will mean that I'm in a strong position in the second half of the game.
Yeah, so action point down here, which I'll just leave there just as a reminder. Right, okay, so
That's
then
going to my homework.
I've got to suffer a penalty, haven't I? Yes, so you can resolve the things. Let's just check what red is going to do though. Move your avatar, move the avatar, move back to card. Move back to card. Well, actually, that's okay because I've got too many on there anyway. So we'll do that.
That's going to my home world.
Yeah, that one is going to my card.
So that puts that back up to 5.
This one comes to my reserve.
That one's going to my card.
Okay, and that one goes to reserve. Okay, and I get the card. Okay then, so the monster powers happen in player order. So
First of all, we have to have.
Sorry?
Oh, the other monster powers.
The actual monster powers, not the tokens. Yeah. So the Holder's power is to draw a stone into the world where they are, and yeah, I want to do that from there. Do I want to do that or not? Because what has she got that she can do to me? She hasn't got any tokens that she's got world powers with. She does have her world power, so Vanaheim can't hurt me. Svartalfheim could. By spending 2 points means that she could. It would cost her 3 to move that stone out of there, though. But 2 stones going in would give her that world. So I'm going to have to be watch carefully here. But drawing a stone into the world my avatar is in, is that helpful? What if it was a green one, but only if I've got excess greens, and I don't want to do that, and bringing a stone in of yours risks me losing the control of the world. So I believe I won't use the Huldra power. Well, I might use the Mare power, because the Mare power, the Mare power, is to push a stone from where my avatar in an adjacent world. Actually, no. Again, I don't want to do that. I would do.
If you push that away, you're going to lose that power.
It would do, yes. So if these are quite, sometimes they're useful if you've got excess stones or whatever. But both cases at the moment, not so much. So we'll leave that.
Now you know you have those powers. Now you've got the monsters. You can factor that in.
You build that into where the stones are going to be. Okay then. So now we're into monster tokens. You haven't got any. I've got quite a few. The first one, a banished one. I'm not going to use the Asgard token. The next one up, I think, is Jotunheim. Steal a stone.
Anywhere you could steal a stone that would actually give you a point.
Actually, thinking about that, then it might make sense. That's the obvious thing to do, isn't it? Just recycling for a moment. If I actually did use the Huldra power as green, yeah, draw one of these stones into here. Actually, no, it's not him that's got the stone.
It's not green that's got the power. That's what you said. Had green had the power, there were various things you could have done with it.
Yeah, but he's not got it, because drawing that stone in there and then changing its colour would have been good to do, but can't do that right now. So steal a stone. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get onto another world, does it? Anyway, I don't think we'll see. But for the time being, there's no harm in leaving you with one stone there. But what you want to do is get on other worlds. I mean, this world here, of course, there's possibilities of that changing hands.
And remember, between red and green, there's some value in changing one of your red stones to a green stone.
Could do, but on the other hand, it's worth more points.
Because that gives points for being on things as well.
Okay, that's that. So that's the spending of that token. Let's pop that. There it is over there. Next up, I've got would be the Nineworlds one, which is add a stone to a world. So I will do that. There we are. Hang on. Oh yes, I did. Did I just play the wrong one into there?
Yeah, you did. You put the wrong one in. Doesn't matter. You've used the other one as well.
So I didn't have a Nineworlds stone, did I? I put the Jotunheim one in.
Yeah, that was Jotunheim. Yeah. So you've got Svartalfheim or Muspelheim.
Yeah. So a minute. I'm just going to put you back to where you were. Sorry, you locked down your card there. So that's there. Right. So I'll use the Muspelheim power, though, allows me to send 2 stones back to card. So if I do that, yeah, that would be good. So grab that, shove that there, and then 2 points.
Svartalfheim is 2 points to spend.
As red. 2 points would drop one of those directly onto there. Yeah. Right, now real world powers. So first of all, Vanaheim.
First of all, we have to have battles and stuff.
Oh, battles indeed. Yep, indeed. So we start off with World 1, there isn't. World 2, we have an excess number of stones on there.
Yeah, we have a battle.
So off comes orange first, then blue. Yeah?
So blue wins, so that gets to go to Valhalla, which is what I wanted to secure because I have the Valkyries.
Yeah, but the orange world, that one goes to your reserve. Right, so that's that one. The next battle, there's no battle there, none there.
So we do get the power there.
You do get the power, yeah. And there, not there. There is a power here for blue. There is a power there for green. There is a power for red here.
For orange.
Most of the world powers are going to activate now, aren't they? Right then, let's see what happens. Starting with Vanaheim. Well, That's just adding 2 stones to your card, since there are no stones currently in Helheim. Alright, so then Van Alfheim. Okay, let's have a look at this. Right. Move 2 stones. Move 2 stones. Let's banish something. I'm going to destroy something as well. You'll get 2 points though to do something with. So if I was to move that one out and that one out.
Remembering, I've still got the Jotunheim power anyway, because they've already locked in the powers before we move them.
The Vanheim power, yeah, the Midgard power, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that was me doing the Alfheim power, which is done. Up next is Jotunheim doesn't have it. Midgard, you've got the power of Midgard, so you can exchange any one a blue stone anywhere in the Nine Worlds with any other stone anywhere in the Nine Worlds.
Obvious thing to do.
Okay. Right. Then we've got Nidavellir, drop your stone onto the Nine Worlds. This is the only green one. I've got 2 reds here. Banishments and destruction and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So what I'll actually do is to drop a green stone. Pick up 2 stones into there, but then I can still. I'll drop a green stone onto here. Okay. Alright, that's Nidavellir done. Then it is Muspelheim. So I will banish. So I won't banish. I will send back to card that orange one. So you think I've got 1 banishment on the screen there. Yeah, and that one. Okay. That was Muspelheim. Now you've got Svartalfheim.
Spend 2 points.
2 points, yeah.
Then you've got.
I've got the Niflheim banishment power.
You can only.
That's 1 stone I can banish.
1 stone. What's on Asgard?
Asgard has got a green stone. Yep. Okay, and then I will spend my thing to banish the blue stone from here to Helheim. Okay, so that's Valhalla happens, doesn't it? Yeah.
So Valhalla happens. I can use my power.
Yeah.
To put the thing anywhere I want it.
Yeah. Oh,
So
fudge!
it's going
And
I get 2 points.
Forgot about that. Okay, I'll drop and the Valhalla one for me comes back to my home world and scores me 2 points for green. Very well.
I like the Valkyrie power.
Yes, I'd forgotten that one. Was in play. Okay, so let's start. Player order is green. Green has 1 player stones on card. 2. So 2 points for that. Has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stones in play. So that's 24 onto his 4. That's on to 28. He's on 4 worlds, which is 32. He controls 3 worlds, I believe.
Asgard, Alfheim, and
And Nidavellir, which is 15. Puts me on to 47. I have no stones in Helheim. I have 2 monster points. I'll work out the monster point control in a minute.
Yeah, Do we score monster points at round 3 as well?
Yes, you do. Round 3 and round 6. Yeah. Originally, when we played it, it was right at the end.
Yeah.
But actually, logically, going down that strategy, then it makes sense to do it at both stages. Okay, so that's green done, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Red. Red has got 1 stone on the card. There we go. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stones in play. So that
10. No, it's got 12.
It's got 12, is it? 1, 2, 7, and 5 is 12. You're right. 24. Then 24 and what did I say? 1 is 25. Okay, I control 2 worlds.
Yeah, that's our 10.
That is 35, and I have got 1, 2, 3. Is it? Oh, I've done that card. Oh, there it is. 3 points of monsters, and I think the most monsters, haven't I? So 3 points of monsters is 1, 2, 3, and most monsters is another 5 points.
I thought that only happened at the end of the game.
No. It's in the very early games. We didn't have this happen at phase 3, but then that was changed to be both phases because it made sense. Yeah. 43. Yeah. Okay then. So then we've got orange player. So orange player has got 1, 2, 6 stones on his card.
Yeah.
On the card, yeah.
That's because you sent a lot there.
Sent a lot there. Well, okay, better than being on the worlds. You've got. I just realised actually I've done 3. The fact that red was on 4 worlds, so I actually added that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Had done it for green now. Right,
3,
so
4, 5, 6. 6 stones on the card, so that's just 12.
that's 12, putting you on to 18. You're on how many worlds?
3.
Puts you on to 21. How many worlds do you control?
2.
2 worlds controlled. Puts you on to 31. And do you have any monster points?
No.
And are you in Helheim now?
No.
Yeah. Okay, then we've got blue. So blue has got 5 on the card.
Yeah.
Goes to 9. Has how many stones in play?
8.
16. So that puts you on to 25. Yeah. He's on 1, 2, 3 worlds.
Yeah.
So that is 28. Controls
2 worlds.
2 worlds. Puts you that's 28 on to 38. How many monster points? 2.
2.
And then minus 2 for the stone Helheim.
Yeah.
Right, so that's where we are at the halfway point. Basically, at the moment, obviously, my 2 guys are winning.
The problem is that you've got these bottom powers that are very powerful.
Although you did manage to swing it back by the Valhalla thing that time, which I missed. I missed that. It's obviously the monster power being useful there, allowing that. And actually, since that happened after all the battles, world powers phase, and everything, that's quite a useful thing because it means you can.
That's why I was determined to get the Valkyries.
Yeah, to drop it in afterwards, and that swung the Jotunheim, because otherwise red would have been 5 more points that way and blue that way. There's quite a difference there. As we know in this, things can change.
Yeah, so for instance, at the start of the next round, both blue and orange, partly thanks to you, have now got a lot of stones sitting on their cards.
Yep, which means you're almost certainly that things will swing quite dramatically back towards you in terms of control of worlds next turn, or you can use those to go straight onto the monsters. The final thing we do before we start is we flip over the. We've got Fenrir coming in. You can see these monsters have a lot more locations. The stone trolls, and a dragon. These are worth more points and lots of bonuses. so Fenrir's worth 6 points there, and Dragon has can send stones back to people's reserves. So that potentially with those stones you've got in play, that could swing. You could swing that back, and any one of those.
The other thing that Orange has is lots of those tokens to put things.
That's right, and I've blown most of mine already.
Yeah.
And any one of those would equal the number of points I've already got monster piles. So this could change round. We shall see. Okay, so I think that's it for this week. Yeah?
Okay, so we'll leave it there for tonight, and so we'll probably finish off this game next week. Hope you all have a very good week. Bye for now.
Right.